Oh, excuse me. All right, well, you've seen the red one that I just did. The red sign. Where the hell is it? Well, the only thing I got to do yet is put a phone number on this one. So you've seen that one. And that one there was already picked. This is one that just came off the cutter. And I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you can see it. Those are all the cuts. And within those you can see the lettering S-A-F-T or S-A-F-E-T-Y. Firearms and mark, the ampersand, and so on. Below here is my phone number. Forgive me, but I don't show that. You know, and basically that's where we're at. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to take off all the black that's around it, because that's just going to peel off. And then I'm going to have the black stripes in here with the letters within, so then I can pull off the black stripes. Now, the best way to do this is to do it in reverse to what I just said. Take the squares off first, because that'll eliminate the letter completely from the black outer, which is the larger piece. Because I can pull this black piece off and very easily it get caught on something that may not have cut thoroughly all the way through. And I don't want to find that out when I have a big piece of black sticky vinyl in my hands that if I put down it's going to stick to something else, and then I'm going to end up with a big old mess and end up throwing this away. So the first thing I'm going to do is pick out the larger square around each character or each font. So let me come over here and get a pick and a knife. The knife and a pick. Ooh, ooh. And then if we just grab this little corner here, as you can see, I can start peeling off all the waste. Alright, now let's get that peeled up there, and if not I'll just cut it, but whoop, that's what we don't want to happen. Now we'll just take that and stick it over here for now. Pardon my arm. And we'll get this picked off here. Come on, be nice. There you go. Same with that one. It takes a little patience when you're picking. Because you really got to watch those letters. There. Now that's what I mean. See, now I can very easily peel off that black around it without catching any of it, because I know it's all free and clear. And I'll do that with each one. And we got to remember to take out the little circles within the little letters. And I'm not going to bore you by doing this all right here in front of you. I'm going to turn the camera off so I don't waste your time. Not unless you just want to hear me talk, which I doubt. I get tired of listening to myself, so I'm sure that you guys don't want to hear me. There we go. And away we go. So I'll just lift this up here. Can you still see some of that? Yeah, all right. Then we'll jump out here. What do you think of those homemade tattoos, huh? Yeah. Those were done. Oh, Jesus. I think I was pissed off at my dad back when I was like 14, 15 years old. So I decided to get a needle and some ink, Indian ink that is, and some thread, and I'm sure you know it, history from there. But then I went and I started having them covered. I don't know if you can see them or not, but there's an eagle there, and there's a buzzard over here. Yeah. So I started there's a big pirate up here someplace. Yeah. And actually those were done in the back of a van. Guy would come around with his van years ago, and I'm talking years ago, and when he was doing the pirate, which is on the other arm, with the treasure chest behind it, his needle broke. Not the needle part, but the, I guess the little actuator thing with the control on the speed control on the foot. So what I had to do was, because I was in the electronic field, I took out a veritable pot that I had, and I was able to adjust the pot adjust, add the pot to it, and then I had to control the speed while he was doing my tattoo. Now this particular tattoo on my left arm was one of those nights to where I decided to have a drink, because that was like an 11-hour night. Yeah, 11 hours he was in my arm. Man, I'll tell you, it was just one of those things to where he was experienced, but he wasn't experienced, and the needle broke, and then there was one problem after another, and luckily it came out as good as it did. Whoops, see what I did right there? I started getting carried away. Remember I told you, do not get carried away? All right, well, what happened right there was the M broke, because I started talking, and I stopped paying attention, and there it is, see it right there? So let's get that down there for now, and I'll place it back there if I have to when I'm done. Now vinyl, if you let it go, if it tears or rips or stretches, the best thing to do is lift it up on one end and let her flow back in, because it'll go back to its original shape if you leave it alone. If you try to push it and bend it and manipulate it, you're just going to make a mess out of it. And as it dries or starts to stick to the surface, it's going to start changing its shape, because it wants to go back to its original shape. And that's what happens. Now also, when you're buying vinyl, you have to watch what you buy. There's a vinyl that you buy. Now the only way I can explain it to you is when you buy the vinyl, when they make it, they make one type of vinyl where they pour it out. All right, let's just use that as an example. They pour it out into a form, and then as it dries, they start to stretch it, because they want to make it a little bit thinner and naturally get more out of it. So they stretch it. So that's the way that it dries. So that's dried, it's stretched, it's thinner, and it's all set and ready to go. However, while it's rolled up, it's fine. But once you place it onto a boat or a sign or whatever, over a year, 2 years, it may start to shrink. And then you're going to see the shape of the letter, a ½ inch to a ¼ inch away, because the letters actually all shrank. Now, if they shrink together, that's fine. But if they start shrinking differently, well, then the sign's going to look like shit. And then sometimes the ends start to peel up. So I don't buy that. I buy the one that they pour it and they leave it. That's just a simple way of putting it. And that's the way it's going to stay. That's the way it's used to being. Heat shrink tubing, it has a memory. It remembers to where it was, which was smaller. So when you heat it up, it shrinks. So, but anyway, that's what we're going to do. Now when this is all done, I'm going to take the big black piece off, and then all you're going to do is see the black lettering on this white paper. Then I'll be putting a white transfer paper over this. So I don't want to take up a lot of your time with all this boarding, but I'll take it and I'll put some of the transfer paper over this. Now I'll use clear if I have it, because the clear works the best, especially if you got to overlay different colors later down the line. But at that point, if not, I'll use the white paper. I'll put that over the whole thing, and then I'll rub it on. And when I peel that off, the letters will stick to that, meaning the back side of the letter will now be facing me, so I can place it down on what I need it to do and stick to. Like this, for instance. Right. Now, I put the clear on there, the transfer paper, and this is the back, which is this white paper. Yeah. So when I do decide to pull this off, I can take, I can pull off, there we go. No, come on, you pain in the ass. Now you're going to be a pain in the ass. There we go. When I pull off the transfer paper that I'm going to be putting on there, which would be this, the letter's going to come with it. And this part of the letter's sticky, naturally, because it was stuck on here. And then when I take it, I can put it back down onto whatever I want to put it on, which I showed you on the other one, and that's what we ended up with. Guys, that's it. I'm not going to bore you while I pick the rest of this, but I'll show you what it looks like as soon as I get done. Alright, so there she is. She's all picked. Now what happens is, I take this corner here, and if I can't get my big old paws under there and my nails, And I'm just going to peel this whole thing away. Now this is what I was talking about before, that you didn't want to have a letter stick to this by accident, because if this backs up on itself like this, you're screwed, because I'm telling you, you'll ruin this whole thing. So you always got to make sure you're pulling it off. There you go, so that's all pulled off. Well, you've seen how it looked before. This is how it looks now. Now I'll take the transfer paper that I was talking about and put that over it. Because right now this is still on paper and we have to put it onto here. So this has to be transferred to this. Alright, I'll let it run for a minute. I gotta walk away from the camera because I gotta look for some transfer paper here. And hopefully find some clear, because that's what I like to use the most. I got tons of vinyl, I got tons of transfer paper, but I want the clear. And I don't know if I brought any up here with me. Oh yeah, here we go. Alright. This is the clear transfer paper. And you can see right, it's sticky. Now I got to turn this off for a minute because again I'm not going to show my number. So for a minute I got to turn this off while I do this. I'm sorry.